When people meet my son, they don't see the mental illness.
Hey Mom, I stopped reading, I'm gonna go.
I want to tell you a story about the love between a mother and her son.
They don't see the 20 hospitalizations. They don't see that he hallucinates. He strives to be a normal kid, but he has something that holds him back from doing that.
To protect his privacy, we're not going to show you his face or use his real name. For the next few minutes, he'll be known as Daniel.
Mom says I don't know my own strength. When I hit the bungee bag, I think of the voices.
At age 10, Daniel was diagnosed with bipolar illness. Even with medications, he hallucinates and hears voices.
It would get very heated because he would yell at me. And when he would yell at me, I would get really offended because he was being disrespectful to me.
I'm trying to, Mom. I'm trying to help you. No, I'm trying to help me, too.
I don't tell you when to hear voices.
I can't handle it anymore.
Not once thinking that, well, he's hearing voices. He's trying to talk over those voices. And with talking over those voices, he has to yell.
We wanted to get to know Daniel and understand what life is like for a teenager with mental illness. This was day 1 of 8th grade.
I'm in middle school, and being bullied is really, really popular over there. And I don't like being bullied, and I don't like seeing other people be bullied.
As it does for many people, stress makes Daniel feel worse. At first, it goes well, but on day 3, an ominous call.
Is there any way that I could just show up there and just wait in the waiting area? I don't want to be driving around with him like that.
I was hearing voices, and all of a sudden I had the urge to cut, so I started cutting it with my arm.
He was cutting himself again.
He's cut himself multiple times. They've bandaged him up, and that they felt that maybe it was best that I go get him.
It ended with a trip to the hospital. Daniel stayed for a week.
How many times has he been hospitalized?
I think it's been about 20 to 21, 22 times.
Just over a few years.
Mm-hmm.
And it consumes your whole life.
If Stephanie seems to take it all in stride, it's only because she's seen worse, even worse than what you're about to see.
What is that like to record your son?
It was horrible. What gets me the most are his eyes on the video. Like, he's got these huge, beautiful eyes, and he's just crying, and you just see the despair in his look, in his eye. You know, it breaks my heart.
That was just days before Daniel was first diagnosed. Stephanie was near a breaking point.
For a while, I hated him. I could not stand him. I didn't want to look at him because of everything I've gone through. And it was when I stood there and I talked to them, it made me realize that it wasn't him I hated. It was his illness.
It's tough, huh?
I lost sight of who he was.
Yeah. Eventually, so did Daniel. Last year, after a family fight, there were pills, too many of them. Daniel tried to take his own life. He was just 13 years old.
I wanted to die so bad because I was tired of my life. I'm sorry I had to put you through that, and I'm sorry I made a poor mistake. And I really, really want you to know that I will never do that again.
It's really hard for me to...
Believe that?
No, it's not so much that I don't believe that. It's just, it's a trauma that no parent needs to go through. And it's really hard to say, okay, I believe you. Because he doesn't understand that. That for weeks after that, and it still happens, that I worry every day. If there's one thing that I remember the most is him begging the nurses to let him die. That's like one of my biggest fears. You okay? It's scary because one of these days he's gonna get old enough to where I can't protect him. And you're still having thoughts of killing yourself?
Yeah. Like, they're saying like, good job, and then some other voice came and was like, do it again. I'm just trying to get my head straight.
Despite some high-profile cases, the facts are people with mental illness are more likely to hurt themselves than anyone else. They are more likely to be victims of crime rather than perpetrators.
Every few weeks, I help law enforcement understand what it's like to live with a family member who has a mental illness. When he was hospitalized, he would call me and he would tell me, if you don't come tomorrow, I know you're dead. They're telling me they're going to kill you. You know, and it's things like that, you know. Nobody knows how that feels. When I think about Newtown and several other shootings that have occurred, this would help put in perspective how to approach a mentally ill person. Telling my story helps me with acceptance.
Was it open still?
Yeah, they opened it. I see myself being the person he comes to all the time, and I've accepted that. He was a really small baby, but he was just, I thought he would be, I've always been in the medical field. I always wanted to be a doctor. I thought, this guy is going to be my doctor. But then there's a part of me that already knows that it may not work that way, you know. And it's something that I've accepted a long time ago. You know, I've accepted that one part, that he may have to be with me forever.
Your mom is, you know, again, she's such a strong woman, and she loved you so much. I asked her, I said, people say that one person's love can make all the difference. Can your mom's love make all the difference for you?
Mm-hmm.
You think she can help shepherd you and get you through this?
Yeah.
You say get married, have your own kids one day, and live that life that you imagine.
Yeah, I want to be like my mom.
After all they've been through, most of all, Daniel wishes he could one day be just like the mother who loves him so much.
I just want him, ultimately I want him to be happy. I really do want him to be happy. And I need him to know that when he's in the dark place, I'm always here.
You're always there.
Mm-hmm. Always.